مجالسكم بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الثانية غفر الله لكم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لتأتي في ظهور إمام صاحب العصر والزمان الثالث بأعلى.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة يا غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء. ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Beneath the moon, besides the Euphrates river, crouches the moon thirsty in his palms water. Crouches the moon with water in his palms, ready to sip, to replenish the sleeping lion's power. Catches his eye drawn in the reflection of what he holds. Water so clear, yet this picture is clearer. A child born for a purpose that is softly whispered into his ear by the voice of his mother. When you are thirsty, oh child, and raise in your palms water the thirst of your brother and his daughters, remember. And so he throws back the water, and so he throws back the water, and the crouching moon rises from one knee as the standard bearer. When remembered is the message of Hussein, recalled is Abbas, and devout is his name. The father of virtues, the peak of valor, and for Hussein's message, a standard bearer, forever immortal and undying flame. عبست وجوه القوم خوف الموت. عبست وجوه القوم خوف الموت، والعباس فيهم ضاحكون يتبسمون. قلب اليمن على الشمال وغاض في الأوساط يختطف النفوس ويحطو. وثنى أبو الفضل الفوارسي نكصا، فرأوا أشد ثباتهم أن يهزموا. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. قال الله الكريم في كتابه الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. Say, O Muhammad, I do not ask of you any reward except love of my nearest kin. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. نوروا مجالسكم بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters and scholars, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's the Quran, the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the manifestation of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. The Quran that we hold is very specific when it comes to terms which are quite similar to each other. We mentioned in previous lectures the terms such as maut and imata, the difference between maut and imata being maut, death, and imata meaning there has to be life before there is death. And we mentioned terms such as mukhlasin and mukhlisin. Mukhlasin being those who are purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and mukhlisin are those who purify themselves. Another term which I want to talk about today is mawaddah. Mawaddah and hubb. In the opening chapter which I opened the lecture with, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. There's mawaddah and there's hubb. They are quite similar linguistically, they are quite similar when you're using it practically. However, they are very, very different when it comes to reality. You see, mawaddah is affection or the manifestation of love. Hubb, as we all know, is love. Hubb is love. Al-mawaddah, you can probably find in the dictionary about 10 different translations. But that's how limited the vocabulary of the English language is. The vocabulary of the Arabic language is so vast that there are many, many translations for mawaddah. But we can seek nearest to mawaddah when we say a show of affection, or a manifestation of your love, or practical love. You see where I'm going with this. So, yes, I have love, but then there's mawaddah, and I have reciprocal love as well, where I act upon this love. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in this ayah, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Translation to be, so say, O Muhammad, I do not ask any recompense, or I do not ask of any favors from you all, except that you love my nearest kin. Those nearest kin from the Shi'ia theologians or the Shi'ia scholars say that the nearest kin are the Ahlul Bayt.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
Now, mawadda, in practical terms, when we talk about mawadda, the most parts of mawadda where we see in our lives is in our relationships. Because yes, we may have mawadda for the Ahlul Bayt or love for the Ahlul Bayt, but that is theology, that's belief. But mawadda practically is when I am dealing with certain experiences and encounters within my relationships within society. But eminently, it's this relationship within the family. How do I deal with my wife? How do I deal with my husband? How do I deal with my son? How do I deal with my father? How do I deal with my mother? Because at the end of the day, each person within his family is a different individual. They have their own feelings, they have their own emotions, they have their own character. But the sublime thing is that how we show reciprocal love or affection between these family members in order to bring the family together as a closed unit. Yes, I may like stuff or I may love stuff which my brother hates, and we have fights over it. But at the end of the day, these things obviously can be overcome. At the end of the day, there has to be some show of affection between the family members in order for that family to become a unit and for that unit to be part of a bigger building block called society. Now culturally, especially within Arab-dominated cultures, the show of affection, especially when it comes to the fathers, is something which is seen to be taking away from his masculinity, especially when it comes to the husbands, when it comes to the Middle East. And unfortunately, this culture prevails still today. Men do not want to be seen or do not want to be acknowledged or heard even uttering the word or any show of affection towards his wife. Of course, ghira and inhibition and so on and so forth comes into this, but even so, when there's certain discussions within the fathers, they don't say, oh, I never say I love you to my wife, or I never say anything those. No. I need to be a man, and for me to be a man, I need to be assertive. I need to be insulting. I need to be commanding. I need to make sure that I am the man, and she is the woman, and she is servient or subservient to me. I make the rules within the family. I make the laws. Everyone follows me as the man. Of course, this is culture. And this is, I'm sorry, a disgusting culture we have within our societies. Because what it does, it objectifies the woman and suppresses her to such an extent where she is oppressed within the family. Oppressed. In any case, that's not our mode of discussion. So, relationships within the family. And of course, you'll find that brothers, of course, need to show some sort of affection. But when it comes to the husband and the wife, a lot of people say that, when it comes to marriage, we need to show 50-50. I put 50% into a relationship, and she puts 50% into a relationship, therefore we have 100%, therefore we have a good unit, and so on and so forth, and we live happily ever after. But unfortunately, that's not the case as well. Why? Because if I give 50, and she gives 50, then it's an equilibrium, right? However, look at it from a different point of view. If I was to give 60, and she gives 60 and expects only 40 back, therefore showing this affection more within the family, I will give more and expect less. She gives more and expects less, therefore the love is doubled almost. I probably am not very good with maths. I know it doesn't double. What I'm saying is, you can get my drift in the sense that the more I give, the less I expect, then the less I become annoyed with if I don't get back. Correct or not? That's especially when it comes to the whole marriage issue. But you see, women, now I don't want to enter discussion of women and their minds and their capabilities and so on and so forth, but I think I'm allowed to say that generally, they are emotional human beings. I think I'm allowed some certain extent. Of course, you do have your minds and your intellects and your positions within society, but emotional in the sense that they love to hear soft and nice words, especially from loved ones. A mother loves to hear. She thrives and she strives of hearing words such as, Mother, I'm proud of you. Mother, I love you. And especially when it comes to the husbands and the wives, the mother, the wife would love to hear, you know, well, I'm proud of you as a husband, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud that you can bring up my children to be ambassadors of Islam, for example. In this kind of sense. And of course, the husband would love to hear words such as, which values him as a human being, which gives him his masculinity, gives him his sense of worth within society. I'm proud of you, my dear husband, for you are bringing us food, for example. In any case, our discussion is that there has to be some sort of show of affection within the family. And if you want to take it outside the family, a show of affection towards anyone. Not just love, because love without affection is basically saying, I love Islam so much, but I don't want to pray. Or I love Islam so much, I don't care what happens within society or community or the Middle East or whatever. I don't care what happens. But I love Islam. It's in my heart, I love it so much. But then there's no practical side of that love. I can't actually practice this love. I can't show this affection or emotion, which will make a difference. Why? Because then it comes to interactions. When I'm showing this affection, I'm interacting with that other side. Through what? Through body language, through speech, through sight, and through hearing. Now humans, generally, universally, they are attracted to beauty and good morals. On a universal atmosphere, on a universal scale, humans generally are attracted to beauty and good morals. It's not love or unity or peace or anything like that. It's not specific or to Islam. It's not exclusive to Islam. Love, unity, and so on. So they're not exclusive to. Why? Because we have an innate nature to love these characteristics, to love these kind of personalities. Am I correct? So, unity or love or good nature or beauty is something which is accepted universally. So if someone has this characteristic, we are automatically attracted to him. Therefore, for example, you have non-Muslims who love the Ahlul Bayt. Hence I use the word love, not show affection, but love the Ahlul Bayt. We have numerous quotes from Gandhi and Charles Dickens and all these non-Muslims who have shown their love or their appreciation for certain characters within Islam, especially when it comes to Imam al-Hussein. Especially when it comes to Imam al-Hussein. However, do they have that reciprocal love, that mawaddah that we talk about? No. They have this love, but they don't have this manifestation or this practical side to take into consideration these characteristics and take it within their own lives. Yes, they have that love for them, but they don't have that reciprocal love for those individuals. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. So yes, these individuals, they may love the Ahlul Bayt, but they don't have that affection. However, even when it comes to the word love itself, sometimes we are mistaken, or sometimes we mistake the love and lust. I don't want to get too much into the whole lust discussion, but love and lust. You see, lust is stop and start. It's not continuous. It's stop and start. It's like a mirage, whereas love is immortal. Love is forever. Okay? Especially when it comes to love and lust. Now, the way we see love within society is what the media portrays to us, correct? So whatever the films show to us, what Hollywood says love is, automatically we take into consideration that this is the definition of love. So for example, within Hollywood, the cliche story, two people, man and woman, randomly walk into a supermarket. They both put their hands on the same cereal, they click eyes, and she stays on his mind, so she walks away, he chases her, he forces her to have a date with him, and then so on and so forth, until they get married and live happily ever after. That is the definition that we're given when it comes to love. To the extent We take so much from media. The Arab world, what they've done, or the increasing trend is that there's these Turkish series going on where certain personalities are quite good looking, and the woman says, no, I want you as my husband to be exactly like him. I want you to be like him, I want you to dress like him, to appear like him. Seriously. So anyway, this is what we see defined as love from what? From the media. And when it comes to lust, sorry, sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Lust is what makes individuals chase after people. A never-ending story, a never-ending chase of personality after personality, individual after individual. Why? For the search of love. But that's not love. That is lust, because you'll find them at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the mornings, going from club to club, thinking that they're finding the right character for them, thinking that they're finding the right person to settle down with. But they just spend 2 weeks with them, get bored and say, no, I might find my love with this person. I might find my love with that person. Why? Because they see a mirage. They see, they see an oasis. They come towards it, they find it's all a dream. It's all fake. This is not real love. Real love is the responsibility of settling down with a companion, with the show of respect shown, companionship, settling down with one person for the rest of it. That is true love. Brothers, that is true love, which you find, especially when it comes to Islam. But the lust that we find is it's stop and start, because I'm never satisfied. And this is not specific to a certain age. Even people of 60, 70-year-olds are just still going around places to places, trying to find that love, but they can't. Trying to find that love, but they can't, because they have this false perception of what love is, what love actually is. And a man who we commemorate today, and believe me, most of the people retelling the story of Abu Fadhil al-Abbas retell it with a very, very heavy heart. A very heavy heart. Because this man was the epitome of showing affection and practical love and mawaddah to the Ahlul Bayt. This man, Abu Fadhil al-Abbas alayhi salam, who was indeed Bab al-Hawa'ij, a man who has such a position within Ahlul Bayt, such a position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah has given him that blessing to be Bab al-Hawa'ij. So if you ask through Abu Fadl al-Abbas, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Abu Fadl al-Abbas for your hajjah, for your prayers, for your needs, you'll find that 90%, almost 100% of the time, it is fulfilled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The door of Abbas for wishes is well known. At his door wishes like roses have been thrown. Every rose into a granted wish has grown. Send him a rose, it returns as a bundle of flowers. Send him a rose, it returns as a bundle of flowers. When you find your heart on a hopeless road stands, to he who has no hands, extend both your hands. Don't fear to knock his door, for he understands. Abbas no request burdens raised in the house of Haydar. If you find your words of grief like rivers bleed, turn to Karbala and say, Abbas, I plead. Ask him by Zainab, he will intercede. If you're a woman, ask more, for you'll remind him of her. For you'll remind him of her. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. الثاني غفر الله لكم. A call is made. In the battle of Karbala, a call is made towards the camp of Abbas alayhi salam. Put your minds towards Karbala, please. A call is made in the middle of the battle. In Karbala, a call is made towards Abil Fadhil Abbas. Shimr, who was the relative of Abbas, says, "Where is my nephew? Bring me my nephew." 3 cries, Shimr says, until Imam Hussein alayhi salam turns towards a teary-eyed Abil Fadl Abbas. Teary-eyed. "I'm embarrassed, oh Imam Hussein. I'm embarrassed to call him a relative of mine. This wretched man who seeks your blood, I'm embarrassed to call him a relative of mine." Imam Hussein says, "Even if so, go and reply to him and see what he wants." So Abbas alayhi salam gets up on his horse and goes towards Shimr. He says, "What do you want?" He says to Shimr, "What do you want?" Shimr says, "Oh nephew, you know you're our relative through your mother. You're our relative and I want what's best for you and our family. I want what's best for you and our family. Here is a document ensuring your safety only if you leave Imam al-Hussein. Here is a document ensuring your safety only if you leave Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam." Abbas says, "Woe unto you. How can I leave the son of Fatima? How can I leave the grandson of the Prophet? How can I leave the grandson of the Prophet?" He grabs the document, he rips it up in front of Shimr, throws it at Shimr, and goes back towards the tent of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But do you know who's waiting for him at that tent? Dear Lady Zainab is waiting for him at that tent, and she says, Sayyida Zainab waits at that tent, but Imam al-Hussein, but Abil Fadl Abbas, he says, "Amongst the cries, you come to me with your courage. You tell me, oh sister. You tell me, oh sister, oh light of all my age. The river calls me, and with them I must engage. Of the book of my life, this may be the last page. I leave with these children's cries with me and my rage. So say farewell to me as a battle I wage. A farewell, O light of my eyes, a farewell, much like our fathers when to the sword he fell. The tears you weep to your beloved brother show. The tears you weep to your beloved brother show." Here Abil Fadl Abbas comes towards Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He says, "Oh brother, these people have gotten to me. I want to go out and fight." Imam Hussein says, "You are my standard bearer. If you go and you fall, then my army collapses. If you want to go out, at least bring some water back for these thirsty children. Just bring water back for these thirsty children." And the cries of the children, "Al-Atash, Al-Atash." It's something which Abil Fadl Abbas cannot bear. He's seen Ali Akbar be martyred. He's seen Qasim be martyred. He's the last of Bani Hashim. Understand this point, he's the last of Bani Hashim. If Abil Fadl Abbas was to fall, then Imam al-Hussein is alone on the lands of Karbala. This is how much he didn't want Abil Fadl Abbas to go. But still, he granted him permission, and Abbas goes towards where? He goes towards the river. There at the river, the epitome of selflessness and probably the most best legend you'll ever see in history written was at the river. Here, Abil Fadl Abbas, imagine the scene. 3 days he hasn't drunk water. 3 days. No water whatsoever. Under the scorching heat of that Arabian sun, he waddles within the water. He feels the coldness of the water. He picks up the water, brings it towards his lips. As he brings it towards his lips, he hears the cries of the children, "Al-Atash, Al-Atash." Then he throws back the water, and that was written in his history as the most selfless action a man can ever make. If you take into consideration the context of which he picked up the water. But the words that he had was also one of legend. For when he picks up the water, he says, يا نفس من بعد الحسين هوني وبعده لا كنت أو تكوني هذا حسين وارد الملوني وتشربين بارد المعين أو سوف أفتح حسين annihilate أو سوف أفتح حسين annihilate yourself. How can you drink water when your brother Hussein is thirsty? So Abil Fadl al-Abbas, he picks up the water skin, the water can, he fills it up with water as he heads towards the camp of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. As he goes back towards the camp, he sees an army in front of him. So he fights valiantly, but he is one man against hundreds. The corners made, shower arrows at Abil Fadl al-Abbas. Shower arrows at him and make sure he doesn't reach Hussein and the children. At that time, a man comes from behind Abil Fadl al-Abbas and severs his right arm. Here Abil Fadl al-Abbas says, Wallahi in qata'tu yamini inni uhaymi abadan an dini wa an imam sadiq al-yaqini. You have surely cut off my right arm, but still I will defend the religion of Islam. At that point he puts the water skin in his left hand. He tries to make his way back to the camp. Here he doesn't want to fight anymore. He just wants to get the water back to the camp, but they shower arrows at water, at the water skin, at the water can. So by the time he tries to make his way back to the camp, the water would have escaped the water skin, but at that moment a man came from behind him and severed his left arm. The Abil Fadl al-Abbas takes the water skin in his mouth and still he tries to make his way towards the camp. But then an arrow comes towards the water skin and the water skin bursts. During his confused state, a man shoots an arrow and shoots it into the right eye of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. There, whilst he is armless and he can't see, a man comes from behind with a pole and strikes the head of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. Wa Sayyida Abbas alayhi salam falls, but the miracle is here. When he falls, the only time he says brother to Hussein, see his whole life he would say master, Sayyidi, master, Sayyidi. But the only time he would say brother is when he falls for the last time. He says, Akhi, adrikni, come and save me, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Hussein comes rushing towards Abil Fadl al-Abbas, his brother. But the tragedy is here. Whilst Abil Fadl al-Abbas is lying on the floor, and he can't see, he's drenched in his own blood. Here he hears the footsteps of someone coming towards him. When he hears the footsteps, he says, by the entity which you believe in, by who you believe in and worship, please do not slay me until my brother Hussein comes towards me first. Here Imam al-Hussein stands at the head of Abil Fadl Abbas. He says, Abbas, I am your brother. I am your brother Imam al-Hussein. Here Imam al-Hussein sits and takes Abil Fadl Abbas's head on his lap. Another tragedy moment here. When he takes Abil Fadl Abbas's head on his lap, Abil Fadl Abbas removes his head and puts it onto the floor. Another time Imam al-Hussein puts the head and places it on the lap. Another time Abil Fadl Abbas removes it. Third time Imam al-Hussein puts the head of Abil Fadl Abbas on his lap. And a third time Abil Fadl Abbas removes it and places it on the sands of Karbala. When Imam al-Hussein asks him, he says, Abil Fadl Abbas, these are our last moments with each other. Please let me hug you and embrace you. He says, Imam Hussein, right now you are with me. Right now my head is in your lap. But tell me, in an hour's time, who is it that's going to be sitting on your chest, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein? Imam al-Hussein attempts to take the body of Abil Fadl al-Abbas back to the tent. Before the soul was removed and taken from Abil Fadl al-Abbas, Abbas alayhi salam says, please leave me here by the river of Furat. Imam al-Hussein says, why? Abil Fadl al-Abbas says, because I am about to depart this world, and the second is because I promised one little girl water, and I'm embarrassed to come back towards the camp without water, for I promised Sukaina water. Imam al-Hussein says, Al-an inkasara dhahri. He walks towards the camp with an arched back, with a broken back. The first woman to greet him was Sayyida Zainab. The first woman to greet him was Sayyida Zainab. She says, Akhi, where is my brother Abbas alayhi salam? Imam al-Hussein said nothing. He only said one line. He says, عظم الله لك الأجر بأخاك العباس. What do you mean, عظم الله لك الأجر? Where is he? Here Imam al-Hussein comes towards the camp of Abil Fadl al-Abbas. He comes towards the camp of Abil Fadl al-Abbas, and to signify that this person has passed away, to signify that this person has been martyred, he takes the pole, and the camp of Abil Fadl al-Abbas falls to the floor, signifying to Sayyida Zainab that Abbas has passed away, signifying to Zainab that Abbas, her brother, has been martyred. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Please can I ask you to stand for 5 minutes inshallah for the recitation of the Batmiyah before I ask for your du'as. Before I ask for your du'as, tell me, oh my tears, where is my brother? Is he at the tents, or by the to the crying voice of Almighty's listen, O Abbas, to the crying voice of all my tears. They flow down my cheek, and to you they speak of all my fears, the voice of my tears. To you they're asking to bring the water. The children's voices have been lost. The children's voices have been lost, and now blindness has reached their sight. The thirst has taken this away, like the sun takes away the night. And now with our tears we're speaking, and on the sand with blood we write. I beg you to bring them water. They stand in sadness and in fright. From them their souls have been taken, and their ropes of, and the ropes of their arms are tight. They shall leave this place with no heart, chained from the left hand to the right. They'll leave without you. They'll leave without you. What have they been through? God help these children. You are the Lion of our dear Father. Who dare hurt you? Haidar cries for you, as does Zahra's rib. Tears flow for you. Pick up your courage. Pick up your courage with your angel hands to bring the water. For your blood they are all thirsty, like we are thirsty for water. They hate the blood that flows through you, the blood of Zahra and Haidar. Your mother raised you for today, and your mother raised you for today, to give your life to your brother, and with it your hands and your eye, with them your sword and your banner. Tell me they will ask, what would I tell them? God help these children when I see you fall. Words play in my mind. God help these children when I see you fall. Words play in my mind. God help my heart. Do I dare see you have fallen by your flag, all torn apart and torn for the children, and torn for the children. Where is your promise to gun water, to bring the water? السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي بالفضل العباس وأخته زينب جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم وفقنا لمراضيك، جنبنا معصيك، اجعل عواقب أمورنا خيرا يا الله. اللهم عجل وليك الفرج واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه ومن الذابين عنه من المستشهدين بين يدي يا الله. إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات وإلى أرواح خدمة الحسين نودي لهم ثواب الصورة المباركة الفاتحة. قبلها صلوات.
اللهم صل على